man to begin with.
Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Time to talk some football. Well, Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors will host the Courts Caribbean Football Classic from March 25th to the 29th at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain. The Tri-Nation mini-tournament includes Barbados and Guyana. It will mark the return of international football to TNT for the first time since October 2019. All three teams are being led by Trinidadians, Angus Eve with the Soca Warriors, Jamal Shabazz with Guyana, and Russell Latipi at the helm of Barbados. TNT open against Barbados on March 25th before tackling Guyana on March 29. Barbados and Guyana meet each other on March 27. Angus Eve joins us now to talk about the upcoming mini-tournament. Welcome to the SportsMax Zone.
Thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure to be on the show with you guys.
No problem at all. Angus, how delighted are you to have international football, international men's football, back at home?
Well, extremely excited. Football has gone through so much off the field, and then we went straight into a panic. We had a football pandemic, and then we came up with a medical pandemic, a health pandemic. And coming out of that, this opportunity for us to finally play in front of our home fans is tremendous. And I really feel like a kid with an ice cream cone on a Sunday evening.
And I can definitely understand how you feel. I think what's very interesting about the competition is the fact that, all three coaches are Trinidadians and you know each other very well. So based on, how things are set up, it's set up to be a very exciting competition. What do you expect, you and your team expect to gain out of this competition?
Well, this is the only time that we would have before the Nations League, which is in June. Late May and early June. So this is the last international window before that time. So we wanted to bring the full squad as much as possible together because all in the Gold Cup and in the games against Bolivia had never had the full squad. The team was always out of season at the point in time when we had games. And now we think that the team is a lot sharper now. So I'm very excited to have the guys to gel. We had an opportunity to play outside of Trinidad, and I said, I wanted to keep the team together and also to give the fans something to see what the work that we've been doing live in their face,
Yeah, it will definitely be a sight to behold. Do you have all your players, though, or are some of them still overseas?
We have all the players that we could get. We still have some of the players who is not with the team at this point in time. For some of them, personal reasons, some injuries, and some of them because of club commitment. Because in England, the lower leagues they don't stop, so some of the players could not come back for this game. But we're very happy with the squad that we have.
Yeah, I noticed that the squad includes some of your Europe-based players, Angus, including the Garcia brothers, who are both based in Greece, I think. How satisfied are you that these players coming in will blend in well with the local unit that you're working with?
Well, the skill set that they would bring and the type of football that we want to play. I know in the Gold Cup we played a little bit negative in the sense of really sitting back and playing counter-attacking football. But really and truly we want to be on the front foot. And as you know, Judah was in with us in the Gold Cup and he got injured in the second game. But he would be a tremendous boost having that experience now in Europe. You're seeing a little bit more maturity in his game. And so, we're looking forward to big things from him and also Levi.
Yeah, I know that Kevin Molino, Angus, has been TNT's most impactful midfielder for a few years now, but serious knee injuries have bothered him. I see he's not in the MLS at the moment. How soon will he be back to playing fitness?
Kevin has gone through a really tumultuous time over the years with his knee injuries, and we think it won't be for about more than six more months or so before Kevin really comes back and playing full football. We're hoping that he will be back in time for the second phase in September. But it's really sad for him because he's a really good guy and he gives everything for the country every time he plays.
Angus, I note your comment about the negative tactics that you had to use realistically in the Gold Cup and there was no time to do anything else. You've had a lot of time with your coaching staff to look at spreadsheets, to look at formations on paper, to plan things as to how you want the game to flow. And you've, of course, had some time to work with the players. In terms of a philosophy, a guiding principle, Angus Eve's Soca Warriors, have you developed that to a level where the players can buy into it and express it, starting with these games?
I think so. It's, you know, an international manager's job is very difficult, George, as you know. You just have the players for about 5 days at a time. Fortunately, we have a 10-day window and we could get 2 matches in there. And hopefully, that's the reason we didn't want to play away from home and use it as a camp environment. So I can really impart the knowledge and the way that the style of play that we want and the philosophy of play that we want. Because we have exciting, skillful players. You know, we've always been blessed with that. And I think we've gone away from the traditional way the Trinidad teams play. And also we're looking for to be defensively solid. And if we have that nice defensive base, then we can allow the front players to go and express themselves.
When a Trini football fan, Angus, looks at the opposition that you're facing now, you know they are better than I do. You know that they're coming expecting your team to overwhelm the opposition. Do you have the fitness to do that? Is that what you're looking to have them do in these 2 games?
We want to beat them more with our tactical awareness, you know, and really push the ball around the park and you know, impose ourselves on the opposition, George. Back in the day when we used to play, before we even go on the field, Caribbean teams, you know, was giving up. And we've gone a long way from that, where we've lost in the World Cup campaign against Caribbean opposition. And now most of the Caribbean teams is very misleading, them saying that they develop past us, when by they're bringing in players from Europe and all these different territories that they can bring players from, but they never really develop them through their system. So a lot of people think that we're falling back in the development. I think if you look now, the landscape is very quiet in football since we have come on board and really put down our heads and really do the job and not have these all issues in the press and stuff like that. Players are being paid, staffs are being paid, so now everybody can knock it down and really get to what we want to do, is play football on the pitch.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go, because you spoke of the administrative pandemic that affected TNT's football before the COVID-19 pandemic. And coming out of that administrative pandemic, do you think that the time lost with the wrangling and everything else, plus the COVID pandemic, do you think that time lost will set back your development curve even more?
Most definitely. With all the wranglings that it had, you know, football wasn't playing, and we were playing football in boardrooms. Hopefully it has settled down somewhat. Football is beginning to open back up in Trinidad, and there's several leagues now getting the approval to play and participate. So we are hoping that we can springboard that level of enthusiasm with this mini tournament, which, you know, I think, George, you know, for years gone by, we had the Shell Cup or whatever, the Caribbean Cup, and that used to have a big interest in the Caribbean, and CFU has gone away from those tournaments, and it's a massive disappointment for me, because players like myself, Russell Latapy, Dwight York, and all these players, and Tupper and Gardner, and all of them, they wet their feet in the Caribbean Cup, and I'm watching this is a plug for the Caribbean Cup to come back, actually, because I'm watching the African Nations Cup the other day, and I'm watching the European Cup, and, you know, that sense of pride in what is yours, and that rivalry in the Caribbean, we need to bring it back to develop the players.
And last question, Angus, where top flight football is concerned in Trinidad and Tobago, will you be doing like what is happening in Jamaica now? We did a doubleheader in the Jamaica Premier League on Monday. Paul Hall was sitting maybe 2 feet in front of us taking notes with his assistant. He was there the day before, so he watched 4 matches over 2 match days, and 2 of the local players that he called into the squad, with him watching and knowing he was there, they scored 2 very good goals, knowing that the national coach is there looking at them. It lifted them to new levels of performance. Are you doing that, making the runs, going around in the nooks and crannies of TNT to look at players and see what you can strengthen your squad with?
Well, we had an initiative from the FA because it had no football because of government restrictions. But the TTFA could have organized screenings and stuff like that. So we had a mini zonal league. And I can tell you, George, I was there doing the same thing. And we have 2 players in the squad came directly out of those zonal screenings. Jabari Dillon and Jabari Mitchell and Nicholas Dillon, they came directly from that. So, yeah, we're doing the same thing. We're going to go out there. We're going to look for talent because we believe there is a lot of homegrown talent here still. It's just to nurture them and get them back focused. And, just as long as the administrators organize themselves off the field, we could definitely organize ourselves on the field.
Well, Angus, you'll always have our support here, so we'll look keenly at what you do and we'll give you the necessary support from our end. All the best to you.
Thanks.
All right, good. Angus Eve there, TNT's record appearance maker. It's a lot of games he played, and I don't think that record will be broken. He was like Father Time. Yeah? Well, speaking of time, it's time to take a break here on the SportsMax Zone.